The Dallas Mavericks have turned one of their biggest weaknesses into one of their biggest strengths, their defense.
True.
Over the last 21 games at home. Dallas is holding opponents to 100 average points. That's amazing.
That is amazing, and they've also turned one of their biggest strengths into a weakness because offensively they're not near as good as last year. But if you want to give Jason Kidd credit for something this season, and he's had a great year, it's that his team has bought into what he sells defensively. And Carlisle always said that we're going to be defensive, but Carlisle always had a efficient offense. Jason Kidd's defense is, as you noted, at home giving up 100 points a game in a league where 120 is commonplace. That's a feat, and that's something that will carry on into the postseason. Defense at home.
And if defense wins championships, then that's a good sign. But you did mention their offense being a weakness. Is that going to be their biggest weakness heading into the playoffs?
Their biggest question mark, I'm not calling it a weakness because we don't know what's going to happen yet, but the biggest question mark to me is Luka's going to Luka. He's going to stuff the stat sheet. He's going to do what he does. Who's going to take the other big shots? Is it going to be Spencer Dinwiddie?
Right.
And at some point, Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber are going to have to make shots because those guys are going to be left open. Everybody's going to double team Luka. Can those guys make the big shots at the biggest times? To me, that's the question mark about the Mavs offense.
Yeah, I think everyone's ready for Maxi Kleber to get out of
It's a little
that
funk,
shooting slump.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Can't do that because, he's a good defensive player, a good rebounder, but if you're playing 4-on-5 on offense, all of a sudden an offense that struggles at times already is really going to be mitigated in the offseason, in the postseason.
I think first-year head coach Jason Kidd has probably shattered a lot of expectations that people had for him in his first season as head coach in Dallas. His name is being mentioned a little bit into Coach of the Year conversations.
Let's slow that down,
and
can we?
What I love about this is Kidd was asked about it, and he says, that's one thing I really don't want anything to be a part of because, in his words, that's basically for the next year. That's when you get fired. And I thought that was so
Sets
funny
the bar
and
pretty
so
high,
true.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm good without that one.
Yeah. Well, Jason Kidd's been Rookie of the Year here with the Mavericks. The next year, I was the beat writer at the time. We set the bar. He's going to be MVP next year. He's already been Rookie of the Year, so he knows about the
expectations,
the extra burden of expectations. Yeah.
Right.
But Jason Kidd, Coach of the Year. I've read this. I've heard this. Mavericks have done nothing yet. Nothing. And I know it's a regular season award, but they're better defensively. They're not as good offensively. They're flirting with the first, home court advantage in the first round. Those are incremental, tiny steps.
Yeah.
But to say he's transformed the franchise or revolutionized the Mavericks, that's going.
Seems unfair
that's going.
to him.
Yes, that's way too fair, and he hasn't done it yet. Now we're sitting here next training camp, and the Mavericks won a series or two. Then you look back and go, Jason Kidd took momentous steps in the right direction, but so far we're just inching down the right road.
Right, absolutely. So somebody who has also taken a momentous year is Dwight Powell, who he's been shooting, I think it's his best shooting season of his career. Why and what do you think has gotten into Dwight Powell?
I think it's pretty easy. Well, I shouldn't say easy for us, but for Dwight Powell, it's pretty easy to have a high shooting percentage when you're just scoring on lob dunks and layups. And that's Luka. Right. Luka sets him up.
Yeah.
And, he's one of the best rim finishers the Mavericks have had in a long time.
He has so much energy around the rim right now.
His energy is fantastic. A couple weeks back, he got hit in the head and had an egg on his head.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, he's not going to play. And he came back and scored another 10 points.
Right.
A lot of people, me included, almost wrote him off and said, Dwight Powell, he's athletic, but he's not refined, and he just doesn't fit in this Maverick system.
Yeah, he seems like he moved maybe a little step slow, but not right now.
And let's give Jason Kidd credit on not giving up on him, saying, you've got something, let's put that into play. And he's kind of resurrected Dwight Powell's career, Luka and Kidd. And, Dwight Powell, he's somebody now that you can count on. He's a double-digit rebounder, and when he gets the ball around the rim, that's his shooting percentage. He's a good finisher around the rim, and that has a place on this team.
Oh, absolutely. The Mavs need that. Speaking of something you can always count on, Dallas Mavs star Luka Doncic and his relationship with the NBA referees. You can always count.
Relationship. Let's call it that.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to call it. Because it's a relationship, right? There's a two-way street.
Yeah.
But I found it so interesting last week, Luka come out and said, you know what, when I get really frustrated with referees, I'm trying a new tactic. I am going to sing a song in my head rather than
sounds like a
argue.
made-up story, but he's trying everything. Let's give him credit.
Exactly. He's like, rather than argue, to take a breath, I'm going to sing my favorite song in my head. And since he has, initiated this tactic, he doesn't have a technical. So maybe it's working.
But you see the games, I see the game. It doesn't keep him from getting mad.
No.
On the court, he's such a good competitor.
Right.
He's surly. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly and him were going at each other the other night. And
I love when Luka just smiles. Like,
he smiles and he's singing, but inside now, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but keeping the stress level in and not letting it out.
Right.
Smiling and singing, it may bubble over into a full outburst.
Right.
I do like that he acknowledges it. He's aware of it. He knows I can't get too many technicals to miss a game or in the playoffs. So he's working on it. But I mean, that's some psychology stuff right there. Sing your favorites. What song I wonder is he singing?
I don't know. It's probably Slovenian.
Some Slovenian folk
You
song.
probably would not be able to know what it was.
But if he let it
what
on,
if it's like Justin Bieber?
don't ruin it for us. Can't be.
Who knows? Okay, so this is the most important time of the year for the Dallas Mavericks. The Heat in the West the competition has never been better. I feel like seeds 2 through 7, it's like such a tight race.
Changes every day.
Yeah, it really does. Every day refresh. Okay, who won, who lost last night? What about the Mavs' schedule headed down the stretch?
So the Mavs can do something, and they have a realistic chance to do this. Something they haven't done since 2011.
Which was a big year for the Mavs.
That was pretty much a big year, and since then it's kind of been fuzzy and forgettable.
Right.
They've only won 50 games one time since 2011. Now, a couple of those years were COVID shortened, but we got spoiled with Dirk. 11 straight years of 50 wins in the playoffs. It just became like what granted. Well, now they haven't won. They won 51 times since 2011, and that was in 2015. Now they're scheduled down the stretch. They've got 9 games remaining. Their last 3 games and 4 of their last 5 are against teams with 0 to play for. The Wizards, Portland, San Antonio, and forgetting the other team. But there's 4 of their last 5 games. They should just roll the balls out there and win.
Right, hopefully.
And that'll get them over 50 wins. They get to 50 wins. That's the most they've won since 2011.
Wow.
So we talked about Jason Kidd. What has he done? He's taken the Mavericks to regular season heights, which they haven't seen since they won the championship.
Yeah, that's huge.